storm to potentially.
Yeah,
my younger son plays for high school.
Oh, all right.
How's it going, everyone? We're live here with none other than Ryan Lomberg, former Florida Panther, here at the Hobby Card Show today. How's it going, Ryan?
Great, thank you. How you guys doing?
Awesome.
It's a freaking honor. Holy hell.
Right on. Nice to chat with you boys.
Ryan, I'll say this was my bucket list item like about 3-4 years ago when I started doing this content, so appreciate having your time here. Guys, let's just get into it here. I know our fans are going to want to hear this. You know, that clip that went viral, Game 7, 2024 Stanley Cup Final. Can you just kind of take us behind the scenes on that a little bit?
Yeah, geez, thinking back on it now, obviously, biggest game at the time of my life, Game 7 Stanley Cup Finals. There's obviously a tremendous amount of pressure and all that stuff. So for me, it was just about, staying intense, but also keeping it light and really realizing why we're playing and what we can accomplish, with a win.
Yeah. Cody?
There's a lot of talk about how composed your guys' group was. What was that bench like in the third period? I mean, obviously we know what the situation was, the 3-0 deficit, but what was the bench like, and even the locker room going into the third period with a lead?
Yeah, we were pretty comfortable in that position for sure. Playing strong defensively was kind of our MO, and we knew that with the lead we were definitely a lot more comfortable with the lead than chasing it. So we knew obviously they got some of the best offensive players in the league and that they would have a strong push, but we were in a great spot and overall the vibes were definitely calm and just got to go out there and close out the game and lift the Stanley Cup.
Hey, but Ryan, I mean, you scored your first NHL goal with Florida against Columbus. You sparked a comeback in that game, but your greatest Panther moment was in the playoffs that year. Game 3, nearly down 3-0, overtime winner versus Tampa. I mean, what was the feeling like that one? Because that game really set the standard for us going forward from there.
Yeah, that's probably the favorite goal I got of all time is the overtime goal against Tampa. You kind of dream about that situation as a kid, right? Scoring an overtime winner in the playoffs and the game being over, right after. So it was pretty cool feeling. Obviously, we didn't ultimately get the job done that series, which was unfortunate. But like you said, it kind of led to greater things. So looking back, it was a great moment for sure.
What's it like being back down South Florida this summer, Ryan? I know probably a lot of familiar friends, faces, stuff like that. Taking in anything, or just there for the hobby card show here right now?
Yeah, I came for the card show for sure. So unfortunately I'm in and out. Get back up to Calgary. We got camp kind of on the horizon here, so get back to work. And it has been nice to see the ocean and listen to the waves roll in and see the palm trees and all that stuff. So it's been short, but it's been great.
Ryan, I got to jump in. I'm a local Calgarian, born and raised Panther fan.
Right on.
Tell these guys about Calgary a bit, about the city, and playing with some former Panthers now, like Mackenzie Weegar, Jonathan Huberdeau, all that. How's it been for you?
Yeah, my family and I have really been loving Calgary. It's obviously tough to compare the two, right? But as far as a hockey and family lifestyle type goes, Calgary is just about as good as anywhere. The people are phenomenal. Of course, they are in South Florida as well, but just extremely neighborly and caring over in Calgary, and it's a great place to raise a family. And my wife's been loving it, and I've been loving it. It's a very loyal and big fan base up there too. So it's been an honor to play for them.
There you go, Nick. Neighborly.
Well, I
can tell you.
I don't give it that much shit, do I?
I don't know, buddy, but Ryan, there's one moment there's one moment in your Panthers career that I'm still very upset with when you got thrown out of the game versus Carolina, going for a loose puck. You end up just running over Antti Ranta. I'm still pretty upset that you were even thrown out of that game, but I got to say that was probably one of my favorite moments for you because that just showed your hustle and the way you're not going to give up on any loose puck out there. And What and kind of moments like that, like, is that what you kind of strive for? Is that what you kind of strive for in your play style? Just that all hustle, every shift, 100%.
Yeah, that's it for sure. I mean, it's what got me in the league, and it's what's going to keep me in the league. So I definitely, I got to stay intense and stay relentless. Yeah, looking back on that play, I came across it the other day actually on social media, and that was crazy how I got kicked out for that.
Like,
People still ask me, did
It's
this happen
crazy.
overnight? I'm like,
Like,
no, it happened like a couple years ago. I still don't know the
Like, I
explanation.
still don't know. Like, you
Yeah.
you got the puck first. Like,
Yeah. That was a bad call, but what are you gonna do?
I do
One
have
of the
to
maddest
ask,
times Jobo's ever been on air, I think. Nick, go ahead.
I do have to ask what your reaction was. I know you weren't on the team anymore, but when the Panthers acquired Brad Marchand, obviously the battle past couple years, what was that like seeing that?
Yeah, obviously Billy is Billy's been doing a phenomenal job. The proof's in the pudding, back-to-back Stanley Cups with legitimate chance of doing it again. I think when Bill's behind that phone, a lot of things are possible. So obviously initially you're a little bit shocked because you don't think Boston would have kind of dealt him somewhere in the division, but Billy's up to his usual games and tactics, and he got it done. And obviously I think the fit was pretty good too. He kind of fit in pretty good with his style of play and kind of his character and all that stuff. So from what I understand, the guys love him, and he seems like a good teammate.
Cody?
I mean, imagine him, Lomberg and Martian on the same team. That would have been nonstop chirping. I mean, I still think my favorite chirp is Game 2 versus Boston. I think you and Nosek, another Panther, got into it. When he told you to go home, you said, "Yeah, we're going home, but you're coming with us." But,
Exactly.
But on that series, that Game 6, I mean, electric. I mean, absolutely electric. Is that like one of the biggest like barn burner games, like especially in the postseason that you've ever played in? Because there's like 6-5 or something ridiculous that.
Yeah, for sure. They usually, especially our style of play, they usually don't get, or the games don't run up that high. But yeah, it's the team now. The Panthers, they can score, they can shut you down. So they're going to be a tough team to beat for sure.
But
yeah, I know, Ryan. I know, you started your career at Calgary with the Abbotsford Heat. Was there anyone influential kind of bringing you back that maybe gave you that early call that said, you come back to play in Calgary and stuff like that? Who was a big factor for you starting out?
Yeah, there wasn't really too much communication, I would say. But I know, like the head coach, for example, Ryan Huska. He was my coach in the American League for a handful of years. Cale McLean, one of the assistant coach, was my head coach in the East Coast Hockey League my year there, and then my head coach when Huska got promoted to the NHL. So, and then from a management standpoint, Connie was around. He was the assistant general manager my first time around there too. So there was a lot of familiarity around. I know that they were they know kind of the person I am and the player I am, and it was a perfect match. And coming back to Calgary, they just wanted me to be myself, and that was a pretty encouraging and easy thing to do for me. Just show up and be myself. So it was it's been a great fit, and we're looking forward to next season.
Knowing this city really well, Calgary, I knew this would be a good fit for you here, Ryan. And we were so happy, the Cats are Rats here, when you got that contract. Just so happy, over the moon for you. What was it like filming that little schedule preview thing there, or whenever you filmed it? What was that like?
Yeah, it was a blast. We went out, we headed out towards the mountains, so it was a beautiful day. Good day to work on the tan, I guess, without a shirt. So it was a blast. The team there did a great job putting that together, and making sure that we got some attention on our schedule release for sure.
I wanted to just say in a bit, thank you for beating the shit out of Keegan Colasar that one year. I was so pissed off when that.
Oh, yeah.
But I did want to ask, you really became like a mainstay in the NHL when you got to Florida. What was like your welcome to the NHL kind of moment? Like, holy shit, like here we are.
For me, it's like I got a few distinct memories of like being on the ice, warming up for the game, and looking across and seeing Crosby and seeing it was like back in the day it was Taves and Kane on Chicago and stuff. So pretty special moment being on the ice with those guys for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, but I think anything else, boys? I mean, this is a Panther legend we're talking to right here.
Yeah, I actually got to run, guys.
But appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it
Appreciate
was awesome chat with you guys. I'm happy I was
Hey.
able to do
Have a-
this.
Thank you so much. Have a
Thank
great
you.
summer. Good luck with the Flames.
Yes.
Good luck.
See you guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Holy,
Take him off the screen, Cody. There you go.
holy hell, boys!
There we go.
There we go.
When I
Thanks
first started
so much
content,
to Ryan Lomberg for coming on. I'm in downtown Tampa right now.
Nick gave us a quick heads up on this today. Because
Yeah.
of the Hobby Card Show. So we do have. It's not much more promoting about it now, but because Sunday's almost over here. But all weekend long here, Big C's had met Udonis Haslam. I think he also made some contact with another former Panther, which we'll talk about off air later.
Another one.
Up and by, I don't know about today. I don't know, Nick. You got to keep me updated here.
well, I don't even know. You might know before me.
What, Nick? You start tomorrow, right?
What happens?
You start.
I'm in
You
downtown
start school.
Tampa.
You start school tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I gotta call it 1:30, and I'm in downtown Tampa. I'm like, shit. So I call you two. I'm like, let's get ready to go here. And we really appreciate Lombo for coming.
I was speeding because I was in my car when I got the call. I'm like, I gotta go here. Let's.
I was in here. I was in the studio. I was like, oh, the guys, we gotta get started here. So those are little.
It's been a while since we've all been together, gents. So what's new? How we feeling about when we're at it?
I guess we got to talk about it. The Panthers signing Luke Kunin to a 1-year, $775,000 deal. A guy that Nick's been dying for like the last 2 seasons.
Yes. Oh,
And
whatever. We can talk about it. Go ahead.
but yeah, I mean Luke Kunin. I mean another 4th-line winger, gritty 2-way guy, smart to play, a very smart, capable player that kind of fits the Florida mold.
Yeah.
And just $775,000. I mean, it ain't nothing. I mean, really. So that's just. I think that's something for 4th-line depth, especially with the Kachuk being out. You can kind of still roll a bit, like roll a guy in and out of here. So.
Yeah, I said to you guys, I know I said PTO, Nick, but I also meant veteran.
Well, I'm not. I
You
didn't
guys are
comment
like,
on that.
there's no
Cody
numbers
said
there.
hell no. You said I said hell no. I didn't say that.
But this
I
was
thought
before.
you were kind of on Cody's side there. You guys were shooting that down.
Yeah, I guess I didn't think about that. I didn't really think about it too hard because I didn't think
But
about.
Cody, I thought it was going to be closer to training camp on a PTO.
I
deal
thought.
than
I
like,
wouldn't have been surprised because after the stream, I thought about like, yeah, PTO makes sense because without Kachuk, we're kind of thin in the forward front, especially because we don't have a 13th forward if we have Kachuk's out. Because if Kachuk's out, Boquist is in or whatever.
and they got to expect Mackey, Boquist, and Erod. I know Erod's done it before, but all to play up the lineup with Kachuk out, that could be a tall task.
Yeah,
I'm not security down the lineup.
Well, it's the thing, and I know Bennett on the contract just got his new contract. You could really make an argument now that that Lundell, Losterina, Marchand line's essentially going to be our second line for the up until really Chuck gets back.
You know, I wouldn't mind them moving Marchand around a bit this year. I want to see Marchand with Barkov really badly.
And we
That's
saw
just
briefly at the end
it's
of
very briefly because the playoffs, you know, you stick with the same lineup. You really do. And after the 4th line got shipped in Toronto, we really didn't have to make that many drastic moves. But like, I wouldn't mind seeing Marchand, you know, with like a couple of like, you know, with a Barkov, and maybe you do the rat line, maybe just so you have some familiarity there, so you don't really kind of lose just in case, you know, injuries can pop up during the playoffs, and like you could put up Marchand or whatever. And I expect a better year out of Mackie Semiskevich. So maybe
it's exciting because he got 15 goals last year, and I thought he played all right in the Tampa series. Maurice moved him down a bit in the lineup. That I don't think that had the best effect, but yep. I think this year again. A lot of times you talk about sophomore slump. I think that's actually for contending teams when their younger players actually take
sophomore slump's when like the young guy is in the main frame, like a Bedard or like a Celebrini, like that type, or even Hudson now. Like that's why I'm kind of predicting Montreal to kind of because there is a world they fall out too, but with with
I don't. Montreal.
look, dude, two teams fall out every year, and it's gonna be hard as hell to predict. I have like
Doesn't Montreal have cap space too, Cody?
No. They used it all on Dobson.
I think something's going to happen with either Laine or Matheson.
How about Kirby
And that
Dach?
could be for the positive.
Here's
Well-
a 60-point Kirby Dach. Ooh, there you go.
like, but here's the
That's
thing.
not Kirby Dach.
But here's the thing. Dog plays center, and they need centers.
But they're going to
Before
move him to wing.
Before we continue, shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to Die Hard, Parrish. What's up? Really
Like-
appreciate you coming on here.
But anyway, it's just it's gonna be interesting to see. Once again, we won't know what the coaching staff is thinking until training camp starts here.
But well, you mentioned Blinkus or on last live,
But
Cody,
Cunning's,
but I think too there's
you
some
know what?
space there. You know,
you know what Kunin
What's that?
reminds me of? Kunin reminds me kind of almost like a Nick Cousins. I'd say more Steven Lorentz, actually. That type of.
I'd go more Nick. I don't know. I don't think that's
There's a
like,
mix between the two because, listen, this is a guy that could play both center and wing. It's a guy we looked at, Kirby. We talked about it at the deadline.
I did a write up on him. Also, I think he can play power play and PK. So he's more than
I don't know about all that.
he can play PP too. He has.
He's going to be an excellent penalty killer. I think he's a hard-nosed player. I think this is not a guy that you just get for Tkachuk, for depth on Tkachuk. I think this is a guy that, and I don't want to look too far ahead, he's good enough to play in our bottom six regularly and into the playoffs. Like, this is not, a last second, just whatever depth signing. This is like a legit NHL player. Like,
I mean,
multiple 10-goal seasons. I mean, like, he's got some skill. I mean, you know, he's a good player. I like the pickup. And, you know, you take a look at that rotational depth there. Now you got Nosek, Greer, Gadjevich, Boakfist, Kunin. You have some people there that could kind of mix and match depending on who you are. And it's kind of weird. We just a couple of years ago when we won the cup the first time, you had Cousins, Lorentz, Okposo, Lomberg, right? It's kind of a different look. Stenlund, obviously the mainstay. I don't think Nosek, and I think Tomas Nosek, you know, quality fourth line center helped us win a Stanley Cup, but I don't necessarily think, Kirby, I think you agree with this, that's a lock for the whole season again.
I don't think so. The fans are going to get upset with us. But again, Paul Maurice put that together, and he can take
but
it.
here's the thing about Kunin and why I think he's more of a Kunin's projecting as a winger on this team. Because he has
on the right side,
wherever side, I don't care. It's easier to flip wingers than it is defensemen. The thing is with Kunin is he's not really that great of a face-off guy. Never, I don't think he's face-off. What I've seen, he hasn't had a year where he's above 50% in the circle, and that's where I think Nosek's more of a lock. And
you know, you take a look at like what you could do with the fourth line, Cody. Like Gadjevich, again, I think similar to Nosek. I think what Gadjevich did was great, but I don't think that might not happen again, right? So you need some rotational guys, and I think Jesper Boakfist. I don't know how he fits on a fourth line role. I didn't love what he provided in that area during the playoffs. I think his success came in the regular season in that middle six, whether it would have been with Sam Bennett or Anton Lundell, and on the top line in the playoffs with Barkov and either Reinhart or Rodriguez. But I think Kunin provides, like, if you take a look at a potential fourth line of Nosek, Kunin, Greer, and you have Gadjevich and Boakfist as your extras, well, you already know, number one, that you can mix and match those guys and have pretty good success. You kind of have a little bit of everything there with size, physicality, penalty kill ability. Nosek, Kunin, Jesper Boakfist can penalty kill too if needed. And the other thing is Nosek, Kunin, and Boakfist can all play center. So you have that rotational thing. Whereas I don't think there is a mainstay on the fourth line when we had 2 years ago with Kevin Stenlund, right?
I think they're worried about losing AJ Greer.
Yeah.
What? Oh, for next year, you mean?
Yeah, I think that they're not looking that far ahead, but I think they are concerned about that. But just a comment, Nick, in the chat from Parrish there. I think they're not hoping. You never hope for something like this, but when Tkachuk gets healthy, there's probably going to be another injury or two in the lineup. I wrote a tweet out like on the defense. You know, Aaron Ekblad, he's been injured before and has missed time before. Any salary cap space opens up room for Tkachuk to come back where they might be able to keep Erod if there's another injury or two or three. You know?
And you never know who that could be. Obviously, think there was a report a couple weeks ago. I'm not sure exactly who it was, and it's kind of obvious now, but the Panthers, they view Rodriguez as a key piece, and they don't want to lose him, right? And when you think about it, like his versatility, I mean, he's the most versatile player in our lineup. It can go.
He's one of the few guys that can play on the first line that you could say.
Yeah,
I could put him there for 20,
anywhere in
30,
the top
40.
9. He can play anywhere in the top 9. You can put him on a second unit power play. I don't know why we've never tried him on a penalty kill. He did penalty kill in Colorado and Pittsburgh.
Because we necessarily don't need him on the penalty kill. Let's be real
But
here.
when you take a look at the good example with the other penalty killers we have, our whole third line is penalty killer. Barkov, Reinhart. Then you have Nosek, now Kunin. I'd assume.
Well, I think also just to jump in, I think they brought Kunin in because isn't he a right shot forward, Cody? They barely have any right shots on this lineup. When you took Mackey out, they were putting Erod on power play 1. I still stand on this. I think they were doing it because he's a right shot. And if you looked at Nashville this year, they had all the guys that shot the same way. And they said that was a problem when you got Forsberg, Marchessault, and Stamkos all shooting the same hand. And when Reinhart was out of the lineup.
Yeah, Kunin's right-handed.
Kunin's right-handed. So you had Reinhart out of the lineup, you had Mackey scratched, and then you have Erod as your only really other right-handed shot, if I can remember correctly,
he's right. He's
playing on the
right.
power play. So I think Kunin's a sneaky little ad there.
Well, I think it reminds me a lot of Steven Lorentz, a guy that can play center.
I think higher level than that.
I think it's higher.
There.
Yeah.
I think, and injuries are going to happen, Kirby. We're going to have either Kunin or Boqvist in the top 9 this year.
It's going to be Boqvist. Like, I think there is a world where for about a 5, maybe to 10 game stretch, I'm going to steal this name from Kirby. You're going to have the golden ticket line, which is Barkov, Reinhart, Boqvist. I could see a world with that.
10 games are going to stretch it too?
I mean, it's Barkov and Reinhart. They can play with anyone. And like
I
Boqvist,
would like Mackey to get that chance.
And the other part
but
is,
I think Mackey's stapled with Bennett right now, to me.
early in the regular season last year, you saw guys like Greer and Boqvist getting regular penalty killing time when guys like Barkov and Kachuk were out. So I think you're going to start to see, again, earlier in the year, you can experiment with things a little bit more because the margin for error is not as narrow. And I think we can kind of overcome that. But you take a look at our lineup. I mean, even with the Kachuk injury, I still expect we're going to be right there for first in the division. I mean, we've been able to win without Matthew Kachuk. Actually, last year the problem was it was the Aaron Ekblad suspension that kind of screwed us over. We were fine until that. So I mean, it's going to be.
Well, that's why I was saying on our last live, if it's defense, we do have a spot there with Petrie coming in. If that doesn't mesh right away, I said this to Cody. Remember, Nate Schmidt. He didn't start on opening night. He was a healthy scratch.
Adam Boqvist and Uvis Balinskis.
Right? And they would rather have Balinskis up and down, and then Adam Boqvist was up in that press box more than he was on
Would
the
it
ice.
shock you guys? Would it shock you if Uvis Balinskis started opening night?
No.
No, I think that's their intention. But if it doesn't go well, you got Ben in there.
Petrie 7. You think Petrie's the 7?
I think Petrie's the 6 because of the handedness. It has nothing to do with the skill. Just because
I think I'm gonna take it all the
I
playbook
think
from
they're
last
gonna
year. It's gonna depend on his training camp, similar to Nate Schmidt. If he's Nate Schmidt had a D-level training camp last year. That's why he wasn't in the lineup. I think they gave him every chance to start Nate Schmidt last year. So Petrie's like that, or I can't imagine much worse.
Ryan says
Then
Petrie.
you've got
I think Petrie, a right.
I don't
shot
think
guy.
he's bad at all. I really don't.
He's a right shot guy, and he's going to play here. He's going to be fine here. I don't have a worry. He's a veteran right shot defenseman.
No, but I can see him having a bad camp like Nate Schmidt did.
Oh, I can too.
Okay, I can see it too, but
And I think
also,
this is
remember Eric Stahl, everyone?
I think Balinskis.
he didn't play in a year.
He was a PTO, but he wasn't.
I think Balinskis can play
Too good.
15 minutes a night, though. I'm not worried about that.
But Cody, if the Eric Stahl situation was last year or this year, the cap situation would have been a lot different. They wouldn't have had the patience to stick with him for 20, 25 games. They had to, right, Cody, Nick?
Look,
Well, for Eric Stahl, you're talking?
Yeah, they had to stick with him.
Well, yeah, you
They had
kind
to
of have.
put Mark Stahl in a top 4 situation.
And by the end of the year, Nate Schmidt was playing when Aaron Ekblad was out 18, 19 minutes a night and was very consistent and steady.
Listen,
I do not remember a defenseman to have the arc that Nate Schmidt did. Of course, we've only won 2 Stanley Cups, and we've only been successful here in recent memory. But I do not remember in the history of the Florida Panthers. And, we watch it a little closer now, obviously, than we would have when we first started following this team. Me in the 90s, you guys, in the 2010s. We're following a lot closer now. But I do not remember a guy's story arc being from Nate Schmidt to where it started to where it ended.
When it's like he led the all defensemen in points in the final.
He was an anchor to a degree.
He basically, because here's the thing, I still remember this. Half of our community wanted him gone in training camp, and he ended up being
wanted him gone in November, December.
And start to finish, this may be a hot take to some people. He was our best defenseman in the postseason.
I agree with that.
Start to end.
Cody, you noticed in January, February, around the Four Nation break, you kept saying to our post-game audience, guys, he's one of our best, most consistent, steady defensemen right now. People still had October, November in training camp.
Yeah,
and they're like, what are you talking about, Cody?
You take a look and you compare it to Oliver Ekman-Larsson. That's the most obvious example.
It was the opposite.
I mean, and you take a look like Nate Schmidt, minutes-wise, we talk a lot about minute allocation. Nate Schmidt, for a bottom pair defenseman, 15 and a half, 16 minutes, running a number 2 power play unit. That's I'm going to be honest with you, I think Nate Schmidt's best hockey was better than Ekman-Larsson's.
I think the average fan, I'm not just talking Panther fan, Nick, but the average NHL hockey fan, they take that for granted.
Listen,
it's like a referee or a linesman. When you don't notice him making mistakes and he's playing that many minutes, that's a huge plus.
Yeah, and
right.
And the thing is,
he's just not making mistakes. Real quick, he's actually doing I didn't see Oliver.
Well, they were subtle things. I don't think every.
Yeah, but there was a reason why our power play 2 became dynamite. Because remember, the back half of that postseason run, our power play 1 was god awful. Our power play 2 carried us.
You guys think Schmidt falls off? Ryan asked.
No, because I don't think they're asking that much of him.
I think he'll be fine in Utah. And also another point I really wanted to talk about: Dmitry Kulikov been a really underrated piece to our blue line. It's just a solid, steady presence. Can play either side. Is he gonna be? People get on him. I think he's been put in a really tough situation these last 2 years. He's had to play top 4 minutes for a lot. And when you take a look at what he did for us in the top 4 last year, was it phenomenal? No, but it was all right. He played 20 minutes a night in our top 4, and we were number 1 in the division. So, say what you want. Dmitry Kulikov is a top 4 defenseman. We're a top Atlantic Division team. That means something, right? And he did get better as the year goes on. And the year before, remember, the first 2.5 months he had to play top 4 with Niko Mikkola. Yeah,
but the thing is with Kulikov is this is why I have Petrie in the starting lineup to start the year. I want him on his left side.
They like him as offside though, which is weird. Yeah. They've kind of avoided getting that right shot defenseman on the bottom pair, and they finally do it. Petrie is a guy that can move. He's big. He's not afraid of contact. A guy that, especially in a regular season role, can play 15 minutes. I think it fit well with Kulikov. It's kind of interesting. We've yet to see kind of a young guy with Kulikov. I thought Adam Boqvist was going to get that shot with Kulikov, and Nate Schmidt was going to go in that middle pair with Niko Mikkola. But you take a look, it's 3 veterans paired with Dmitry Kulikov: Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Nate Schmidt, and now Jeff Petrie.
Nick, I don't think they avoided getting a right-handed shot defenseman. They're very hard to acquire, and it's usually the left-hand side. But when Kulikov's playing that well and he can play on either side, that affords them the opportunity. Hey, we can go fish for another left-handed guy. But you saw where that got corrected last year. We were on it all year. I was like, get a right-handed shot defenseman that can be in your top 3, top 4. You haven't replaced Mackenzie Weegar. You haven't replaced Brandon Montour. And you get a guy in St. John. That brings it all together.
You could argue that Forsling, Ekblad is still there. Forsling replaces Weegar. Montour was just an addition at that sense, right? Because of how well he did.
But Jones is now officially the Montour.
Now Jones,
we could say
Montour
that
wasn't even in the plans for Bruno. Pretty much going to be benched the following year, or on the bottom pairing. So thank Paul Maurice for that.
Take a look at the minutes. You have guys like Niko Mikkola, I had even put in there. You have 4 guys that can play 23 plus minutes. And even Dmitry Kulikov, who's your 5, has played 20 plus minutes for you, has played big minutes.
And when he's a 4 or 5, like you're saying, that's a big tall ass for him, and he's kind of come through with flying colors, playing with Nikola, and then go back down.
Is it A plus? No, but it's definitely passing. It's like a B minus, like level play. I mean, if that's your fifth defenseman, you're the defenseman, which is kind of weird. I haven't ever really loved our defense. Like
the only bad thing that Kulikov's really done for us, you go back to the island last year. What are you doing, Kulikov?
Oh my gosh,
because it puts you in such a tough situation with the Ekblad.
I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Like, we're gonna, and then that's Tobias Bjornfot experiment started, and but then Magna came in, and I thought Magna played.
Magna, yeah, that was a safe race. People are gonna forget about that. He's moved on to where now?
Vegas on a one-way deal, so I think that's like a 7th defenseman option for them. He's going to be on the roster.
Yeah, but I don't know. You guys just love like putting defensemen on paper. You don't like how our defensemen look on paper. Like, that's one thing I've learned.
No, I do.
But Nick and I do trust. We have full trust in Paul Maurice, and we're gonna have coach rankings coming up here in the next week.
Like I said, I have full trust in Bill Zito. That's my.
Well, here's the other part.
I get that, but I'm a Maurice guy that brought all this together.
We might not have a clear-cut number one defenseman, but we have 3 top pair guys. We have multiple guys that can play 25 minutes a night. I don't think anybody in the NHL can compare with what we have as far as a collection of
Vegas.
But Nick, you agree with the coaching? No, Cody just said this. Bill Zito. That's easiest answer to go with here. But if we have Bruno here or some other coach, they're not bringing this all together like Paul Maurice with this defense. You can't tell me that.
Brandon Montour, he wasn't a household name when Paul Maurice came in. People thought Gustav Forsling was going to have that 70 point.
No, but I'm even talking the OELs and Schmitz. If you've got a guy like Andrew Burnett in here, I don't think they're doing the same thing that Paul Maurice is doing with Sylvain Lafayette.
No, and I think everybody fits where they need to really well. Especially, I think it's just a really good group that rounds out and our system, especially with our folks. You take a look at Etulo, Starine, and Lundell, Barkov, Reinhart. I mean, even Sam Bennett. I mean, and then the year before that, Kevin Stenlund. Like, our centers are it's unreal when you really think about it. Like, we have multiple Selke level players in our top 9. They have Etulo, Starine, and Lundell, Reinhart, and Barkov. If you really honestly thought about it, they should be top 5 in Selke voting year in and year out, the way they play.
I just want to jump in here quickly because some audiences are going to see this today. We want to thank.
You guys want a surprise?
This is kind of like a preview, a prelude to what our post-game spaces are like. So if you guys do not follow us, look at the bottom of the screen here. You can follow us on Instagram, CatsNRatsPodcast. Follow Caesar Inspires as well. Make sure to drop Big C's a follow too. Over on the YouTube channel side here, he's looking to get his subscribers up to 1K. I think he's very close, if not there. So make sure to drop.
Has met Big C's. My dad has finally met Big C's.
Oh, yeah, it's funny. I might as well say this on the air now. He's like, Nick who? Nick Cousins' dad? He's like, no, Nick Levine's dad. You guys weren't in here yet. It was off air. Lomberg. Yeah, it was a blooper. I wish we had it.
Yeah.
You mean
I don't know what was going on. I got in the studio and everything was going.
You mean with Caesar, not with Lomberg?
No, with your dad at the event.
And Caesar.
Yeah, he's like, Nick Cousins' dad? He's like, no, Nick Levine's dad.
That's Caesar. That's Caesar.
It was just before Lomberg came on.
Like, I love Big C's. I don't know if there's anyone in this world worse with names.
No, and C's times, everyone. If he doesn't know your name, he's just not good with names. So I don't know if you saw your dad yesterday and then today, or
listen. Caesar still can't do Paul Bissonnette's name. Like,
he goes, Paul. He's like, just busy.
Just Biz. Paul Biz. That's what he calls him.
At the Hobby Card Show, we wanted to thank Andrew Hoffman for all he's been doing. He came on our live stream. We had a great time with him. Special shout out to Andrew Hoffman, who's actually helping run the Hobby Card Show at the Broward County Convention Center here. August 22nd and now the 23rd. So you've been hearing me say that for months on end now. You're going to finally stop hearing me say that. But big thank you to Andrew Hoffman. It looks like a really fun event. A lot of unbelievable people there. Looks like,
and we got to thank Hoffman for being able to bring Ryan Lomberg on. So we did have him on this summer. So appreciate you guys going to that episode, following their page over on Instagram. Because, Nick, they're going to be doing more card shows. This is their big event. But they're going to be doing more throughout the year in the local.
And I am sure we will collaborate again in the future. So big thank you to Andrew Hoffman. It's been great working with you. And we really appreciated you him coming on. We had a great time.
Yep.
Yeah, and a big shout out to Mr. Levine as well, Nick's dad,
Yep.
to be there at the event. You know, he's stuff
And
there.
as always, big shout out to our sponsor, Jeremy Beckham with Nexthome Treasure Coast and CanesWear. Once again, CanesWear just announced a new signing. Sam Bennett will now be in the building as well. They also booked Matthew Tkachuk recently as well,
Really, they did.
who recently just had surgery, so he has all the time in the world.
Cody called that out the other day on our live. He's like,
Oh.
yeah, this date kind of syncs up with like Matthew Tkachuk not being ready for the season. Cody, we kind of broke it before David Pagnotta did or whatever. You kind of broke it. Should have put it out there on a tweet.
Like,
Quote tweet on
I
that.
forgot.
That was like the worst kept secret, was it not?
I forgot I said that.
I should have did a quote tweet on that with Kane.
Because like it's like the 7th, like the 7th opening night. I'm pretty sure.
October.
I think it's like the
Like, there's no
signing's
way that Matthew Tkachuk could
and the
be-
signing's October 8th. I'm like, he ain't playing. he's so surgery.
If there was any uncertainty before that, Cody's like, he ain't playing.
Now, when they said a couple weeks ago, I'm not exactly sure when he got the surgery, but he did wait a bit.
I told you guys, either on air or off air, it might have just been off air, but you guys know I said this.
Yes,
It's
yeah.
going to come out 2-3 weeks later after he got it. I could have put it out there in a tweet, but I was like, I had this premonition. That's how the team operates, and it's going to, you know.
Listen,
Well, and it's interesting because I'll come back in January. The really weird part now is we're not accruing cap space, and we don't really need to. There's not anybody like we need to acquire at the
I
deadline.
wouldn't mind acquiring somebody. Just saying.
Oh, I wouldn't mind it either. But unless somebody does get hurt, and unless we're really banking on that, and we really are that confident that somebody else is going to get hurt long term, I'm not really sure how we expect to keep all these guys.
Look, we'll figure it out. I mean,
Well, I said the injury thing. That could be one.
like,
Parrish, I don't know if they already had. I don't know that. I don't know if they.
I think they did.
I'm just putting something in the chat for him. We don't have to share the screen.
Oh, okay.
I think. I guess Anthony, Kirby, what are your thoughts on signing of Luke Kunin? I mean,
We talked about a little bit earlier, but go ahead.
yeah, we talked about it earlier, but if you want the more in detail response, you could just rewind back. But the short answer is, he's a very versatile, high IQ player, and he's not going to hurt the Panthers anyway. Just gives us a little bit more depth up front. Can play penalty kill, can play fourth line. If in a pinch, can play 4C.
Yeah.
So I mean,
This is not a guy that you just add. Like, this is a guy that probably would have been in the lineup the last 2 years in our cup runs.
He
Like,
can eat up minutes, and he's a multi-purpose. I'm going to say special teams guy. He can play up and down.
like, I think people really underestimate. Like, I think the need for like some utility players. I know Jesper Boqvist is the ideal utility player, can kind of play anywhere in that bottom six. But Luke Kunin, I mean, 3 10-goal seasons. I mean, that's going to be like.
Cody, can you pull up his power play numbers?
dude, he has more. He has more than.
Cody, can you go to Hockey Reference, pull up his power play numbers? Because I'm pretty sure he played.
Yeah, but he played probably power play, but that was probably when he was in Minnesota.
That's what I'm saying.
And that was some years ago.
But I feel like
He averaged maybe a minute.
He only has 4 power play goals in his career.
Okay.
So
assists as well, but that's not.
like, but he actually has 6 10-plus goal seasons. So
really.
yeah. So
I thought he only
he scored 10. He scored 11 last year.
Okay, so I mean, again, it's a guy that can clearly put the. puck
I
in the
think
back
that's
of the
above
net.
our fourth line players, Nick, over the last 2-3 years that you're mentioning.
I know might be
That's
automatically becomes our most skilled fourth line player. I think.
yeah. That's why we didn't want to really say Lorentz and Cousins, because this is higher than that.
Trend version, but I do think he has that element. I don't.
Cousins in above, but I wouldn't expect him to play in the top 6 like Cousins did.
So, but
But, like,
basically,
I think the hard-nosed player. I think he can play that fourth line role, even if he's not going to get 10-plus goals. He is going to play that Lorenz level role. I think it's a really good pickup.
But-
I'm surprised that more teams weren't in on him. Maybe he was kind of just
I don't know. Analytics didn't look that great, so maybe that's the reason. I don't know. But career high 31 points with Minnesota in the 1920 season. So it's a short year, so it could have been closer to 40. Through 63 games, played 82 games in the 21-22 season when Nashville had 99 PIM, so he's going to fit in pretty well with Florida here. Career 45% face-off guy on the dot, so okay, maybe in a pinch he'll be all right. But last year had 18 points in
50,
75 games last year.
10 goals.
11 goals, 7 assists. He did get traded at the deadline to Columbus, had 0 points and 0 assists during his time there with a -4. So not the greatest time
What
for
was face-off percentage? Do you know?
last year.
Yeah.
It's split. Last year with San Jose before he got traded, it was 47.3%. But Columbus, he dropped down to 31.3. So it kind of got I guess he got the Nico Sturm treatment.
I don't want to interrupt. Kirby, did you name this? What's the title on this episode?
Oh, I had to hit it right away when Lomberg came in.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I just
So
put
so does it say his name on there?
No, it just says live.
Okay.
Hold
For
on.
everybody who's joining live, rewind to the start of the video.
I literally had
Why?
Mr.
Because
Levine's
I don't think
Caesar
they
and then
know.
Lomberg, and I was like, I gotta go live.
We just had
It was like
Ryan
Cody said,
Lomberg
"No,
on.
just hit
Really appreciate it. And Ted, I'm just seeing your thing. I think it's to the start of the live. Thank you, Ryan. I think on the 3P.
There, I just changed it. Cats and Rats live stream featuring Ryan Lomberg. That's
We'll get a nice little thumbnable up later.
But
I think on the 3P, the rest of the league is really my main thing when it comes to saying I'm confident we can do it. The only thing that leaves me hesitant is when you think about it, now with the Olympics and the amount of injuries we've had and the amount of hockey we played, now you're asking them to, number one, go play in the Olympics and then go to a 4th straight Stanley Cup final. I mean, that's a tough ask.
look, half of our team's going to the Olympics, so that doesn't help us in either way, shape, or form. Hell, Uwe Spalletti is going to be top pair at the damn Olympics here, so it's going to be interesting to see.
And I don't think we're going to use for excuse the Olympics too much, Cody. But the main thing to me is just overall health, and that health, it can nab you in the first round, the second round, before the playoff. It can happen at any time. I know they do a great job of managing that, but sometimes stuff's unavoidable.
For me, my concern level is number one, health, because we had that issue last year. Secondly, it's mainly I'm not too worried about the East currently constructed as of right now.
Yeah, that's what I wrote.
I'm like a path to the conference final. I will say this: it depends on number one LTIR for other teams, but when you really take a look at it, like Cody, we'll think about the top guys, the top teams. Tampa Bay. I mean, I don't really know what they got going on. They wasted 2 first-round picks last year on Yanni Gordon, Oliver Bjorkstrand, and I don't think there's a huge upgrade there from
the only way Tampa scares me even a little bit is if they do this, I'll probably be scared of them a little bit, is if they address the back end. If they address the back end, then I'm a little bit more worried about them. But if they keep standing pat with this current back end they currently have, I'm not too worried about them.
I'll just say what I'm worried about, and it's not what Cody's worried about, but it eventually catches up to you in a first-round matchup. And a team like Ottawa and Montreal that's young and hungry, if you're banged up and you're going through this and you're kind of like, it's not just and I don't want to discredit them, but it's not necessarily what they're doing. It's just you kind of run out of gas and this team's got young legs and they're pushing on you. That's where you can get nabbed and you're like, how did that happen? But if you look back, it's like the duration of all these years adding up, it just kind of catches up to you. And it's not the team that you would necessarily think. So I don't know if that's this year or next year, but you're kind of with me.
Like Colorado when they lost to Seattle. I mean,
yeah, that's a good one.
Perfect example.
And Ottawa and Montreal better than that.
Well, I would say so. And you take a look like Tampa. I know this isn't the Stanley Cup final and that Colorado team was a wagon, but I mean, Tampa looks completely gassed in that series. I mean, it was.
And it doesn't mean that team's more skilled than you. It's just you don't have any gas left, and they've got like in the next round they might get pumped, Cody, in 4 or 5 games. That team.
But the thing is, like right now, like I'm not too worried about the East currently constructed.
Yeah.
Because Toronto got worse. Like they're gonna have.
Carolina, I don't care what anybody says. Not a better team. I mean, guys, Brady Shea and Marty Necas all over again. Oh, you just got.
I've been telling Carolina fans online, you guys had a shot in 23-24 better than you do now, and they're not going to want to. If you look at Vegas odds as of today have Carolina and the Panthers. Some of the odds I saw tied for winning the Stanley Cup.
No.
It's wild.
They're
That's
not
wild.
in the same building
But
as
that's where the Vegas. So they say Vegas knows what they're talking
Marty
about.
Natchez
I don't buy it.
I don't think Nikolai Ehlers is a huge upgrade over Marty Natchez.
they haven't even addressed their biggest hole.
And that's goaltending.
No, it's second line center. Like
That
they're,
too.
they're running back.
There's no second line centers out there on the free agent market.
Toronto got worse. No way. Nope. They may be deep, but they got worse, man.
Yeah, I don't know if Michelli's going to pan. That Michelli thing might not pan out.
It's like Michelli, Dakota Joshua. You're putting a lot of eggs in that basket.
Now they're putting more pressure back on Max Domi, which he could not handle that. So
Yeah,
now more
like-
pressure to him.
I
I think Matthew Nyes can handle, but you need other guys with you. And I'm not a big Mitch Marner guy, but when you lose 100 points, it's hard to make that up with 2-3 other guys and say, okay, you perform to your best, you perform to your best, and you perform to your best. We're talking just the regular season here.
They've replaced. What they said is they got deeper now that Marner's gone great, but you still need if you add.
But Scott Lawton wasn't good for them till maybe the playoffs. You could argue.
But if you add the Dakota Joshuas, the Michellis, and the Nick Wass, and then you add an Alex Tuck, then I see, okay, you got a legit
another player to take those guys over.
Okay,
Yeah.
correct. So if you get Alex Tuck, who I think is a 70, 75 point top 6 first line winger, in my opinion, and you add Nick,
Kind of like what Ottawa did with Dylan Cousins, even though it didn't pan out right away. I think it will.
and then so let's say you add Alex Tuck and Dakota Joshua, Nick Wall, Matthias Michelli, then I'd argue you got better. You did replace Marner in a sense with Alex Tuck, who I think can get 35, 40 goals with Austin Matthews, or however.
Because Tavares is another year older. Matthews still has the health stuff. And then you need Nylander, which I was always more of a Nylander guy than a Marner guy, to be honest here. You need him to bump up and be at that elite level all the time.
If
And I'm a little bit worried, honestly, at John Tavares, a number 2 center, when it comes to playoff time.
No, Cody, you like him, but I'm like with the age thing there. And
Like, I think
we'll see.
in our division, with the centers that are in this division,
I think the Lawton deal is going to come back to bite them in the
oh,
ass.
he has to be big this year. Omi does. Like some of these guys, they had there last year.
In my honest opinion, I think it should be Matthews, Kadri, Tavares, Wall. Screw off Scott Lawton, right? Yeah, that's my opinion.
But in the end here, like if you go in our division, I'll go like biggest weakness. I think Florida, it's basically health. Like can they stay healthy? Tampa, it's the back end. Toronto, it's first line winger. For Boston, it's pretty much
everything
depth basically, because they have the top guys, but their depth is horrible. Let's be real.
I'm not a big fan of their top guys.
One of the worst.
Montreal, it's penalty kill. They if you look at their guys, there aren't that many penalty killers on that roster.
Well, for them, it's Carolina, but they're at a younger path right now. But it's 2C.
Yeah, but the thing is, they got rid of their best penalty killer, Yoel Armia, and they have nowhere near replaced him. Because Suzuki could probably do penalty kill. Caulfield ain't playing that. Demidov ain't playing that. Sapkowski's not playing that. Liney's not playing that. Doc's not playing that. Like,
good point, Cody.
Like you're going down here, and that's going to be the
big.
And Christian Dvorak. No. They lost Christian Dvorak too.
Yeah,
they lost those guys. Armia. Those other.
So their penalty kill is going to be in big trouble unless Montembeau comes up.
Anderson's still there. Can he get in?
No.
No.
And that's why I'm surprised they didn't.
Gallagher, I guess.
You take a look at a guy like Luke Kunin. Like, I know it's not a phenomenal fix, but there are penalty killers out there.
Yeah, but they're in the same.
Yeah,
they're in the same problem Ottawa is, where they just have no two-way guys. Like Suzuki's the only one.
Ottawa got better with that. I think Dylan Cousins. I think Ottawa's really done a nice job. You take a look, Claude Giroux. I'm not a huge fan of him, but he can play penalty kill. Michael Amadio.
They addressed that depth there.
Lars Eller this year. Nick Cousins.
Nick Cousins wasn't healthy last year.
And I think that's something that's going to.
Greg, does he play penalty kill?
Yes.
Yeah.
So there are guys there like Giroux.
Ridley Gregg might get Selke votes in the next few.
And don't forget Shane Pinto can play penalty kill as well. We just named all those guys for Ottawa, and like Montreal, you're really
that's point, Cody. That's something
like
to watch.
that's why
guys there. I think like Lars
Eller.
What
flipped Ottawa into a playoff team, adding more complete players.
Lars Eller, I'm surprised that I don't know if Montreal did look at him or not. I mean, they need center depth there after losing Dvorak, and I know I'm not a huge fan of Kirby Dach with the injuries. So I think Eller especially with losing Armia and Christian Dvorak. They could have used something there. I know it's not a great replacement, but a guy that could play the penalty kill, can play fourth line center.
But they can do a trade. I trust.
But with
pieces there, man.
But with Montreal, that's where I'm because look, Hudson's game is offense. It's not defense. Let's be real. Dobson, same thing. Really, it's more his offensive skill than his defensive skill.
I think Dobson can be a relatively two-way number one defenseman. I don't know if he can be it on.
Aren't they hoping for Reinbacher? I know he's young, but to be their defensive anchor.
They're probably hoping for something.
And they lost David Savard.
They're
so
really the only two defensive guys are Gouli and Carrier.
Gouli, yes, I forgot him. He's very defensive.
You lose David Savard, you lose Yoel Armia, you lose Christian Dvorak. I mean, that's.
But they got the luxury of playing Matheson as their 4-5 defenseman now. He used to be the number one.
Well, I would move Matheson and Doc for a little bit for a number two center and a more defensive-minded defense.
Well, you just have to move one of Matheson line in. You get a defensive defenseman, or you get a 2C.
But that's what that's Montreal's biggest issue.
Things around. Like I think Doc.
They got Newhook there. He can penalty kill too. Cody.
I think Doc, Matheson, and Lionel can and should be all on the move to kind of restructure it a bit with a number two center, with a more defensively minded defenseman.
Yeah. They're they're set in net. I'm telling you.
But here's the thing:
a little bit better bottom six depth there. Those three players you can get assets for.
But the thing is, right now is like that's their biggest concern to me. If they do not address that, there may be in for a long season, especially if Montembeault kind of has a little bit of fall off here, which I think he may have.
I don't know what you think.
They had Dobosh there, and then Fowler.
I don't know what. I am not like. Look, I think Nick Suzuki is a very good center. I'm not as high on him as Kirby is. I thought he never liked him. Apparently, I'm just freaking going insane, I guess. But I don't think Nick Suzuki's all that.
I was not big on him till up to last year, but I can change my mind on his game. What Mike Johnson and Craig Button said about him being on Team Canada, I can definitely see that now.
But next up for Ottawa, I think it's probably their bottom six, or maybe a lot of question marks concerning lineup because can Dylan Cousins fit into that lineup? Zetterlund, can he pop off a bit? Can Nick Jensen have a bounce back year because he really was lost for them a bit? Like that's another thing. And the Linus
Ottawa stabilized the net now. But Cody,
but Holmark's always been a question mark for me. Like
it stabilized them before.
But then again, his question marks are playoff, not regular season. So,
I think it could be an option for Ottawa. I mean, who's like potentially on the move on the back end? I mean, Rasmus Anderson would probably be the only.
They don't need an Anderson though.
And I don't think
wanted to go out west though. Am I wrong there?
Yeah, he wants to go to Vegas because he wants to be back with Hannafin. But because they were paired together when Calgary was like that crazy regular season. But then Ottawa's like that, and then Detroit in the entirety of the back end. Really, let's be real.
Detroit have more questions.
Let me just phrase this. It's just keeping the puck out of their own net. Let's just say that.
And then that defense, you should probably try to keep it out of your own zone.
And then Buffalo, it's everything.
It's so
Cody, you being lower on Ottawa than Montreal, then I would say the average prognosis.
I'm higher on Ottawa than I am Montreal.
You can't be that low on them because the teams below them. What are they going to do? I don't trust them.
If you take a look at Buffalo on paper these last 2-3 years, there's no reason they should be below Detroit and some of these other teams. There's no reason at all.
But history, and we want to add Boston into that mix too. But they keep showing that, Nick.
I don't understand. I mean, again,
track record.
Look at that team on paper. I mean, you could make an argument top 4. I mean,
but now they got rid of Dylan Cousins. They got rid of JJ Peterka. They don't know what they want to do with Owen Power right now.
I'm not going to say they didn't get worse.
I mean, Power could be a pretty good Mikula replacement if you ask me.
Oh, Zito swung on that. Whew.
The thing is, Buffalo is just everything. Let's be real. They're not going to be made serious until they get a new GM into the helm. But then, but the thing is, I'm higher on Ottawa.
In there, Cody. I love Mikula, but if they had trouble with contract talks for whatever reason, and they were able to swing a deal with Owen Power, and the Buffalo's like, well, we'll take Mikula. We saw what he did in the playoffs.
But I'm higher on Ottawa going into the season than Montreal because I just think they have more established guys that I trust a bit more. Montreal's just a lot of like the young guys having a career year. Let's see if that continues. That's why I'm kind of lower on Washington as well, because Protas had a career year, Strome had a career year, Tom Wilson had a career year.
Yeah,
like
I think that
Ovechkin had a resurgence.
they need a top 6 upgrade in Ottawa. I don't like David Perron. It's not going to get it done.
I love David Perron, dude. But I wanted Florida to get him like 2 years ago. And I still would love him on the team.
But Ottawa needs less of the David Perrons and they need more of the complete players, like we said, that they've shifted towards.
But that's more Montreal. But still, like, that's just how I feel with the Atlantic Division right now. Because if you told me gun in my head top 3, I don't think it changes once again. I really don't. Because Tampa's going to put up a crazy amount of goals, especially a full year with Oliver Bjorkstrand, and Vasi's going to be a pretty good goalie, so I think they're in there. Toronto, I think it stays the same, maybe.
One of Ottawa or Montreal moving up. We haven't done our preview yet.
Not yet. I'm not sure. And then we stay in there. It's just, like, for me, it's like the one thing I know for the Eastern playoffs right now, I have the Rangers in. Like, that's the only thing I know.
You are so adamant on that in the offseason. You're as strong on that as you were trying to, like, push what's a Minnesota.
You take a look, I think.
And I was right.
Dad has a bounce back year. You have JT Miller, Trocheck, Lafreniere, I think, has a bounce back year. You have a couple of young guys, right? And it is a weaker Metropolitan division.
I don't love that blue line. You're putting a lot of pressure for.
But I mean, Gavrikov and Fox. Then you have Braden Schneider, and who's on the left side?
Susie? Is Susie still there?
Well, I would wonder about Mike Matheson for them.
Like for me, it's like I'm not sure about the Devils.
Oh, I'm not.
I'd be a lot lower on the Devils if
sorry,
between the pipes.
But yeah, like
Markstrom's second year when he's in a situation is pretty darn elite.
Like
Markstrom, we ranked him too high. We were sharing our rankings around the NHL, fandom.
Okay, so there.
The other question in the Metro, you guys see Columbus doing what they did again? Do you
know?
I'm more low on Columbus, like Cody is with Montreal and Ottawa. I'm skeptical of that.
Yeah,
I'm skeptical.
We'll see here. Like, it's more net with them because, like,
they're putting a lot of their eggs in the Jet Greaves basket. I think
he was good against us a couple times.
He was the best goalie in the last 8-10 games of the regular season.
We'll see here. I mean,
one unbelievable Sunday afternoon, kind of like this one right here. When we lost 5-2 to Columbus. Tarasov.
And he's our backup now. Like,
that was November 2023.
Yeah, but Columbus, like, I'm not sure. I probably wouldn't put them in right now. Like, the only 2 teams I know for a fact, like, in doing Eastern and Western Conference, the only 2 teams I know that I'm putting in that didn't make it last year, but are the Rangers and Utah. Those are my 2. Like,
I'm with Utah. I don't know.
The Rangers is just Igor Shesterkin, man. Like, they got too much damn talent, and I think Mike Sullivan's a hell of a coach. So that's why I'm also like a kind of a believer in that.
Oh, we got to give a shout out to our guy Ryan Lomberg that was on here today. Got to give a shout out to those Calgary Flames. They stunned the world. It shocked the world. Even though they missed the playoffs, that second or third most points for a non-playoff team, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, their season depends on if Dustin Wolf can carry over that rookie year. That's the only thing for me.
I know you talk about the sophomore slump, but I'm very high on Dustin Wolf now. And I talk about people they're surprised how high I put him on the USA goalie ranks. He's right there, 3, 4, 5. I don't know this whole Joey Decourt situation. I don't know why he didn't qualify for Canada or Switzerland.
He's American.
No, I don't understand that.
He's American. He played for us in the IHF.
He was gonna clarify for either Switzerland or Canada. He was mulling his options last year.
Guess what? He stayed with
I don't know. You got Dustin Wolf on your heels. Demko not being named to that team. That's a big, huge question mark. I don't know what's going on.
But he's injured all the time.
He was up for the Vezina 2 years ago.
Okay, but we have Hellebuck, Swayman, and Ottinger. Like, we're kind of set there for a little bit here.
Joey Decourt's path to the USA starting goaltender. Now, I don't see it, and I like Joey.
If he has another good year, I could see him passing Swayman potentially. He needs a playoff run. Let me just say, he needs a playoff run.
Switzerland be the starting goalie.
Dustin Wolf will be there soon. So
yeah, but Dustin
is very close to.
I believe in the sophomore slump because I do believe in guys getting filmed on you.
That if Jeremy,
I'm gonna have to do a Dustin Wolf community.
Let's say, okay, Jeremy Swayman and Dustin Wolf. How they start off the year. You're telling me Dustin Wolf can't make it over Jeremy Swayman?
Yeah, I'd say easily.
I think he can.
If Swayman has any setbacks, which I don't know if he will this year, but the team that he's on right now, I kind of question.
But here's the thing.
Yeah, Boston.
But that's the one thing. Like, there's a chance where I think if he sees shots at a high volume, he gets into a groove and just turns into, like, 3 goals and like 45 shots, that type.
Would that almost be like a Hart Trophy level to start the year for him if he was doing something like that?
Probably.
That's what you kind of have to be at.
Oh, Parrish with a hot take here. Habs out, Detroit in. If Detroit's in, John Gibson's up for the damn Vezina. Like, and
Nick might have to make a community bet with Parrish there after how he went at Vince on the GM.
I don't get it. No, it's not happening. I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry.
Anything else, boys?
You might have to hit up Nick's DMs there, Parrish.
But anyway, it's going on an hour here, gentlemen. It is.
Yeah, no, appreciate your guys' time.
But Ryan Lomberg, what by far our biggest name guest.
There we go. Moving up to the top. No, we've had some great guests though. Jason Strudwick, Doug McLean. I'm not going to mention this name, Nick, but a name that I personally interviewed a couple years back might be making an appearance here soon on the Cats Rats podcast episode. And we also have a guest, courtesy of one of our moderators, setting something up for us, maybe on Tuesday.
But hey, we'll see.
NHL guests.
We got that's all we've been doing is guests. So we're gonna get back to
we're doing stuff.
We're gonna get back to our regular season schedule here soon.
Yeah. Content creators coming on this YouTube channel, Jim Behringer, among others.
So as we get closer to training camp, that's where we're going to start to kind of get back into, what we did last year. And then after dark, Kirby, when is that going to resume?
Yeah, we'll probably resume 1 week before the regular season starts, so I don't have the calendar right in front of me. But we'd like to do maybe our division preview picks with Big C's and stuff like that. So, and get kind of the kinks out of the way to start the year, like iron everything out, how we want to have stuff set up here, not just like segment wise, but how it looks on the screen and that. So yeah, it'll be here before we know it.
But anyway, thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you everyone in the comments. Appreciate it as always. For me, Nick, and Kirby, as always we say when we go out, let's go Cats.
What's up, Cats and Rats fans? If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button before you head out. If you're listening to us on Apple and Spotify, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. And just like always, let's go Cats.